Welcome to another episode of Design in Progress. Today we are trying out the new game Stoikea by Joshua Guthrie, who we have here to explain how it's played and help showcase it, show it off. We're going to play a 1v1 with me and him, and then Will, our ever prominent person who comes and bothers me.
Yeah.
/ I bother him. I'm like, please come play with me. Will join us for a 3-player game after we do the 2-player game. So with that, I forgot to say that I'm Endgamer. Hi, how you doing? And
Which
I'm,
one are you?
and then I'm gonna let Joshua take over, and he's gonna explain some of the rules to this delightful hexagonal chess-like amazingness, and then we'll try and play. Even though I'm bad at this sort of game, but it's funny because I'm really bad at this sort of game with like chess or anything kind of like that, like Go or any of those. But I really love playing them and like looking at them. I'm like, they're just so. I don't know. There's something about those sorts like abstract games that I just find super
Hey,
fascinating, even though I'm
it's all about
horrible
the
at
fun of the
them.
game.
Right.
You don't have to be a grandmaster to enjoy it.
Exactly. All right. So why don't you take us away? I'm gonna do a little alt over the rules movement, but I also have the board up so that
hmm
people can see what all the movement types are while you're explaining what the heck is going on.
Sounds good. Well, first off, Jacob, thanks so much for having me on your show.
No problem.
I'm super excited about the opportunity to talk about the game. Stoicheia is actually an ancient Greek term that means, or word that means fundamental elements, which is kind of the light theme of.
hmm
You mentioned that it is a chess-like. Its similarity to chess is primarily in the fact that your goal is to capture the opponent's aether piece, which
hmm
is this purple tetrahedron here.
hmm
So yours is on this side. So
hmm
it's similar to the king in that respect.
Right.
It's also played on a grid, on a board, but kind of the similarity to chess kind of stops there. So it is on this hexagonal grid. And actually, before you look at the piece movements, I'm going to
hmm
have you hover over this board here
Alrighty.
so that we can talk about some terminology
Right.
in relation to a hexagonal grid. So the number 1 there denotes a hex or a space. Number 2 denotes orthogonal movement,
hmm
which is perpendicular to an adjacent
Yeah.
border with an adjacent hex. Number 3 is diagonal movement on a hexagonal board.
Right.
And then number 4 is kind of this very specific case where a piece traveling diagonally, this is called bypassing movement, where you slip by a piece that's in sort of an adjacent diagonal line.
Mm.
Some pieces can do this, specifically water
hmm
and the air piece,
Okay.
but you can only bypass one piece. Like if you have two pieces that are next to each other,
hmm Could
and you
that
can't
also
bypass like
could
between
that
them.
also bypass directly over it to or no?
So directly over, so like if, so for instance, if I had to pass directly over, that would be jumping.
Jumping versus
Um,
bypassing, which would be kind of going
yeah,
diagonal.
which only one piece in the game can jump other pieces, and that's water. So that's everything on that diagram.
Alrighty.
The other one is just some clarifications on the movements
Okay.
that I just kind of went over, or clarifications on the move pieces combined with the. So if you want to take a look at the pieces
Right.
now, so to start, we have, of course, Aether, which is basically the king piece in the game. Aether can move one space orthogonally in any direction,
hmm
movement or capturing, and then it has the special ability that it can move two spaces diagonally if it's capturing, if and only if it's capturing.
Right.
So it
Okay.
can't do that if it's just moving. The second piece, which
So,
each of us
so
start with.
as a for instance, just to clarify, so like if you had a piece in this center spot, I could just
Mhm.
bloop and capture
Well, so Aether,
ish.
yes, yeah.
If this was open,
If this was the case, Aether can bypass,
hmm
which again is bypassing a single piece.
only
This
one.
would be blocked,
Got it.
but
Okay.
this would be allowed. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Just making sure I understand two diagonally.
Nope, you're doing.
Perfect.
Um, so the next piece, which we both start off with six of, is the particle.
Mm,
And this is comparable to a pawn in traditional chess. The particle can move or capture one space orthogonally in any direction, and then it can just move one hex diagonally. So it
mhm.
can't capture if it's going diagonally, but it can
It
move.
can start moving around.
Now, you might notice that neither of us have any water, earth, or fire or air on the hex. And you might be thinking,
Ah.
Joshua, how do we get them off of our reserve mat and onto the
Mhm.
board? To which I would say you're asking an excellent question. And this introduces the core mechanic to Stoikea, and that is after you have made your mandatory movement action step, you must move a piece. Then you may, this is optional, you may transform any one of your pieces that are still on the board into a different type of piece. And so if you hover over your board here, you'll notice that you've got your four elemental types surrounding the particle, which is in the middle.
Mhm.
The particle can transform into any of the four elemental types, but each of the elemental types cannot transform into its opposite. So fire could transform into earth or air or a particle, but it cannot transform into water. That's kind of the cycle of what can transform into what. So after you have made a movement, then you may transform any one of your pieces into a different type. And it's important to note that the piece being transformed does not have to be the piece that was moved this turn. So
Right.
you could move a piece and then transform a
A
different
different
piece.
piece.
Now, if you want to go back
Hmm.
to move sets, I'll start with water, kind of moves in this sort of snowflake pattern.
Hmm.
It can bypass other pieces and it can also jump other pieces. And a good way to think about it is it just can't be blocked
Hmm.
by another piece. It's comparable to the knight. And then you have Earth, which moves in this very condensed hex pattern here. It cannot bypass or jump, however. So, for instance, if I had Earth here and you had, or this was the setup, my Earth could not capture your particle
Right.
because my particle is in
Your
the
own
way.
particle would be.
Then the fire can move two, three, or four hexes orthogonally in any direction. It cannot move just one space and it cannot move five or more spaces, which is kind of why I have this diagram offset a little bit just to highlight the fact that
That right. That there is
it
a
can't
limit to that
go.
range. Yep.
There is a limit, yes. And then lastly is air, which is probably the weirdest of all the pieces. It can move an unlimited number of hexes in any direction, orthogonally or diagonally. It's only limited by the board.
Hmm.
However, it cannot capture other pieces by landing on them,
Hmm.
like the other pieces do. Instead, it performs this kind of pinch maneuver where it pushes an opponent's piece into a third piece, thus capturing the piece that's been pinched. So, just to give you an example, let's say that my air was here and your particle was here. I could take this air and basically push your particle into your own particle and it would be
Right.
captured.
So if it's only if it's pushing it into another one, can it be either players that you're pushing it into?
That is correct. The
Okay.
piece being pushed into can belong to either player, and the piece being pushed can belong to any player. Now, you can't capture your own piece, but there can be some utility in pushing your own pieces across the board to get a lot more range than they
Than
otherwise
you
could.
typically would. So you can push your own pieces around with it.
Yeah. Pieces cannot be pushed off the edge of the board.
Mm.
So if a piece being pushed reaches the edge, it just stops. So I think that should be everything. Air cannot push diagonally; it can only push orthogonally.
Okay.
So
So the pushing is just the orthogonal, but the
yes,
movement
which on
can be
the
diagonal.
cheat sheet here, it has the arrows to denote that.
Right. Okie doke.
So
That should
would
be
you
everything we need to get. No.
I think so, yes. I don't think there are any secret rules that I'm hiding from you, so
Okay.
you should be good to
Yeah, I
go.
just
Would
need
you
to
guys
like
like to go first?
really, really wrap my head around this, but I'm thinking. Here's my thought, Will. If we move this dude here, and then turn it into water, that gives us
Mhm.
a relatively large attack pattern to be utilizing. That's my thought.
That seems as good
Yeah.
as anything. I think moving and transforming
Right.
is a good opener. I don't,
Move and
having
transform.
never played, don't know.
We did it,
Nice.
William. We're winning.
Oof, one turn down.
Good job. You have more coverage on the board than I do.
Mhm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have any scripting done yet for the pieces to actually swap out with each other. So
That's a pretty
it's kind of
tricky thing to do in TTS, honestly.
yeah.
So, whoopsie, no, that's not what I want to do. I just wanted to check, make sure my recording is going correctly. Hi, recording. All right. What horrifying things are you doing to us? Okay.
And if you choose to not transform a piece
Hmm.
after making your movement, you simply say pass,
Okay. So you're in
which probably
our
won't work or happen this early in the game. But
right. So that is in the valley of our dude, but can attack our dude.
Right. It cannot be attacked by a
so
water, but it
I'm
could
attacking
attack
you,
back.
but you
But we could do this to protect it,
yep,
which this
yep.
can't attack it, that can't attack it, and then we can just.
But that would be able to attack back at its next turn because its first move
Well,
can be a diagonal.
No, it can
No.
move, but it can't
Oh,
attack
it can move, but it
diagonally.
can't attack. Okay, it can't
Right.
attack diagonal. Gotcha.
Yes.
Right. So, and then I feel like having, what do we think? An earth or an air for some?
Actually, that is a clarification I want to make. So
Mhm.
that is something I misunderstood because the rules suggest to me that particles can move one space diagonally, but only if it's the piece's first move of the game, and there's nothing that says you cannot
Ah,
capture.
okay. So this is because you have the.
The
I'm
old,
still in the process of updating the rules.
okay.
Sure, and
So
that's why I
so
asked.
that is a holdover.
I was gonna say because I think
It used to be yeah, when it was at Gen Con,
yeah.
the diagonal movement of the particle was simply an opening move. Now it's permanent, but you can't capture if you're moving one space diagonally.
Okay, that's cool.
Gotcha. So you
Yeah.
can always
Sorry
move
about that,
diagonally
Will.
regardless of the time of the game, timing in
Right.
the game,
Right.
which was why it might be useful to transform back into a particle.
Got
Gotcha.
it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking turning one of our
Question.
like outer dudes into an air so we can start mobilizing it. Because since our airs like can like all the way over here
Can push things around
and then start pushing
that kind
stuff
of
around. Let's go with this. And oh yeah, we also had put him in check.
Yeah.
But you
Do,
don't have to
do,
say it, or
do,
has that changed?
do we do
No,
we
you don't have to say it. That is, you do not have to declare.
Oh, there's no cool. It's not like Stoikea and then Stoikea when you actually get them or something.
No,
I have you in Stoy.
you were in Stoy, but not Ka. Right, you're
Shucks, a Rooney. So here's the problem. That Earth dude is gonna bonk our water.
I'm bonking real hard.
I mean, we could just capture his dude and then get captured back by a particle.
Now this is one another change in the rules will is that when a piece is captured, it is permanently removed from the game. So it does not in the
Return.
previous version, the elemental pieces return to your reserve mat, so you could
Gotcha.
actually still
So once
use
you
them.
lose your water,
Your
you
water's
only have one left.
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, pieces are now permanently removed from the board.
Right.
So
So
you're welcome to trade. Just know that that is a factor.
I mean, what do you think, Will?
How would you be trading? I mean,
So
I suppose you move a piece.
if we move to here, we can take his
Oh,
earth
if you
his
take it
earth,
first.
and then
Gotcha.
he'll take it with his pawn or with his aether pawn, not pawn, particle.
Gotcha.
Or we could like kind of force a trade here-ish with lining up on this fire and then pinchering that, but then our guy will also get taken. So
Because
we'll
you're basically saying if you put that there, then if the Earth moves, you can push the fire all the way through,
all the
putting
way
your
through.
air next to
Putting
it, and
putting
then
So would the air when it pinchers go here or go here?
It would end here.
Okay.
The piece being pushed into does not move.
I'm sorry. If this wasn't here,
Oh, if that wasn't
it
there.
would go all the way to here.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I'm thinking our best bet is literally just this then, because I think in that way
So
we
you don't want to
actually
just retreat?
Yeah.
You want to just like back away
I can't
slowly?
hear anyone talking.
do we want to back away slowly? So this is just a quick question, I guess. Is it better in general to be defensive or offensive in this
Maybe it's
game?
my internet that's being a problem.
Uh-oh, William's internet
Oh,
is being a problem.
now it's back.
Yay.
So is it in general better to be defensive or offensive in the game?
That is an excellent question. In my opinion, I think offensive. The sooner you can start making your opponent scramble with their Aether, the better.
Okay.
But you are in a position right now where really all you can do is either trade or back away. You can't,
I mean,
you know,
the other thing that we can do is force him to trade by moving this here and turning it into fire.
Head out again. So
and
yeah,
if
that's
you
good.
did that, you would be developing your position better, which is really what
Right.
you
So we
want.
can do feigns within feigns. Aha. Mm.
So he's threatening a counter
Ca-
exchange.
a counter to the counter of the exchanges.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. Feel like this is going to be a game that like it's a lot of posturing and then everything goes off all at once. But
Yeah,
maybe not.
that
Um,
has happened on occasion.
do we just get some Earth going on? Like move up here and then go Earth?
Mm,
Welcome to Earth. You
Earth
know.
from Earth.
Is this safe from this water, dude? My brain is breaking.
no,
No,
nope.
no, it's not.
This is
Because
why you
he'd
need
go
little.
diagonally here and then be able to go orthogonally one or this one.
Right. Right. But this is pretty fairly safe.
But if you did put that here and he took it with the water, you could then push his water into your water, taking it, and then you would have that. You'd have two black pieces here. His red couldn't attack either one of them. So it's not
Mhm.
the worst move to bait that. I
Aha!
wouldn't say that out loud in a normal game, but like, yeah, it's not the worst to try and bait that.
This is why you're around, William, so you can tell me my horrible ideas are good. Okay. Hmm.
Mm, no.
So my Aether can bypass but not jump.
Mhm.
So I can't like move my Aether here and then jump and hit that.
Right.
But if I managed to get it all the way here, I could attack. Somehow got it all the way over there over the course of many, many turns. Sorry, my wife is asking me if I fed the dog, which I did.
Good for you.
Hmm. This is where it starts to get tricky, tricky, tricky. Fire Dude can move all the way here. So we can move
You'd be
here.
safe corner. Yeah.
This is safe. And then we can turn that into a wind relatively, I mean, kind of safely-ish.
Is that your turn?
That is my turn, yes. Our
Mm.
turn. Because we make decisions together. Right, William?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Every time I start recording, Darcy needs to go out. Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so just to check, this is not checking it because that's space number 5.
Right.
Yeah, just to check, that's not check.
Yes. That was a purposeful repetition of words meaning two different things.
Okay. I'm going to do something that maybe you missed, and maybe I'm just being dumb, but we can capture this.
Ah, yes, you can. You're not being dumb. I missed
Great.
it.
Okay.
Because you jumped.
Hiya! Alright, I bypassed.
You kind of bypassed and jumped.
Yeah, because what you do is you did this, you moved diagonally and jumped it to go here.
Right.
I will admit that the jumping and moving of the water was the diagram example that took me the longest to understand.
Oh
Oh, wait,
no.
hang on. No, I don't want to do that.
So brain bendy.
I gotta decide if I'm gonna transform.
Yeah, the real tricky part comes when it's like you've entered the mid game and you're like, okay, now it's time for me to turn my earth into a fire guy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, your turn.
This dude, bro. But we could turn, even if we turned this into something that was then threatening this, you could just eat it with either. So this dude just needs to like get the heck out of here.
Pull the tide back.
I just need to like use my brain more than I usually do. Do we think, William, that it is worth taking out another, like taking a trade here? Because then we'll have 2 of his pieces to his 1 of ours. Because we can retreat from his attack here and take his earth, and then he'll take
You
it with.
cannot go that way. This bypass is blocked.
Is this?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's not a. Because
Well,
that counts.
but
Or is that does that count as jumping?
okay, so this is a point in the rules that I'm deliberating over. Is does a double bypass block, which is what Will is pointing at there?
Does it block
Can waters
water?
jump?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
for now, the rules as they are currently written are that water can jump over anything. So it's technically not blocked
okay.
right now.
Okay.
But the water's jump ability is something that I've gone back and forth on.
So then follow-up question to that. Could he take the earth if that piece were there? Because then he'd jump twice.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't jump multiple times. You can't double bypass. You can double jump.
Yes.
Only the water can jump, so that's kind of a just water rule. But
right. Yeah, and the way I think of it is like the jump simply means, I mean, you wouldn't really even need the bypass rule for water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the jump is basically just like you can just
You
jump
can
to the
anywhere where anywhere where it says you can go, no matter what is in between you and the place.
Yeah.
Unless your final destination is your piece, because you can't capture your own piece.
Right.
Exactly.
Which is maybe like it's probably just like because water is the only one that can jump, it's probably just better to like redefine jump as can move through any and all spaces in between it and its destination, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Is maybe a better way to phrase it.
But I guess it's mainly like it's clarifying in that this bypass.
Wait, hold up.
A jump or
yes, William.
Oh no, it froze. It's freezing, but I'm about to win the game.
You're about to win the game?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, William. And I can see your fingers.
Not really about to win the game. I'm just wondering about this. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Probably not. I misconstrued a thing. You hear me? Okay, well that's good. So this doesn't win the game. I was just wondering about a counter thing to think about.
Right, because we can squish. Or is what you're thinking? We can squish this piece.
You can squish that piece, which will put a wind here, which then, if you flip to Earth, would then be putting this in check, and it couldn't then capture this piece
because you can't
because
air
wind can't go to Earth. Right, wind
Earth.
can't go to Earth. Wind can't go to Earth. But you could switch it back to a particle, which can still attack and kill. That's the threat remains. So then it would have to, and it would still work. It means the Aether also couldn't capture your water. This could, but it would be in check. So
right, but it could.
Only option would be to back up.
But it could attack the. It could just attack the particle.
And so then, does that benefit you in any way? Is where I got to
before you. Yeah.
Then you guys said you could hear me, and I was like, "Great, perfect."
Yeah.
And that would already be your flip and your move, so you're not going to get the benefit of flipping something else.
Yeah.
Well, but then I guess actually I want to check. Aether can capture diagonally, right?
Only if it's moving 2 spaces.
Only if it's moving 2 spaces, because then
that's a kind of niche situation.
Because then after that, you could then counter check with your water after that, and then can you flip that to water?
I mean, the more
That's actually an interesting thought.
it's do this and then turn this into water, so we can't capture either of them because
It's a lot of steps. You're the main player, so I'm
yeah,
not gonna explain the
I
four
think
steps I just thought. But okay,
I think we're gonna do this and then
gotcha.
turn this into water.
Okay,
Because this was
because
here
then
and that into water.
it's right here. Yeah, here, because that
Right there.
keeps it
Right.
viable.
So now, if he takes this, we can capture here. If he takes this, we can push it. We can't capture it, but we can
push it.
We can push it though, which does something for us. Maybe
That's
I don't know if that's good or not. And pardon me while I eat my dessert, and he takes his turn, or he can just back attack like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I finally got a piece.
Yeah. So we can't push anything with that. So I feel like we kind of have to just back that ish up.
Well, wait a minute.
Mhm.
If you I want to think something through. If I move that piece there, that's threatening, which
Mhm.
means you have to capture it or move. You can capture that way, but you can threaten that way.
Mm.
And is there anything that can do it? Okay, what if? Okay, I'm gonna make the move, and we're gonna see if it works.
Great.
Is that okay?
I have full trust in you, William.
Okay, I'm gonna move the water to here
Mhm.
and make this into fire.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if this is mate.
It's not because fire can't move one.
Oh, sorry, not
Oh,
water.
because
Sorry,
of
to not fire, into
A particle.
a particle. I don't think it's mate because you can run, but it's really close.
So yeah, it's not because
Can't he just take our particle?
Take your particle.
Yeah.
William, you failed me. It's all your fault.
You're more than welcome to undo it though.
No.
Yeah.
I fully trust William. It's okay.
Yeah.
But you're also welcome to keep it there if you want.
Nah, it's okay.
So I'm trying to think if there's because fire can't go any further than that. It was a air, so it couldn't be earth. But if it's a particle, you did that. Right, and you're one space away from it doing what I wanted it to.
So close, but so far.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're taking it back, it's there.
Okay, we can take it back. It's okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, it was hard to visualize fully in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's a weird thing where I feel like this game would work really well as like an app because you could just hover
Yes.
over and they would show you what your actual attack patterns can be.
Yes. No, I agree. Someday. Step at a
Someday.
time.
So what I was thinking was falling back to here because then we threaten this earth and then developing this dude into something. Maybe a fire because that has some reach, and then our next turn we can develop out with the fire. So we're not threatening his aether, but we're at least threatening a piece of his and forcing him to move defensively.
Well, right, because effectively, as long as you can keep 2 fire pieces on the board, if you eliminate all of their pieces, you pretty much are guaranteed to get a checkmate eventually.
Yeah, it's kind of a rook-ish equivalent.
All right. Here's what's gonna happen.
Pushing it. Gotcha.
So you pushed up against ours, but not pushing through it?
Yeah, I pushed your piece 1 hex orthogonally from here to here.
Okay.
And then I turned my air into.
But you didn't push it all the way because it would then be threatened? Why would you not? Why would you not kill it?
I have my reason. I mean, I guess I could have killed it, yes, but then
He has you in check if he stops there.
Ah, okay.
Well, I guess actually if I pushed well, now that you mention it, if I had pushed it all the way through and killed it, yeah, you couldn't have got me back, and I can move one space diagonally. But I'm gonna stick with what I've done
Okay.
there. So
Okay. And we're in Stoi.
yeah. Yes, you are in Stoy.
How to get out of it is the question.
So is it like I put you in Stoy, and then if it's the next step, it's Stoy K, and then you're like, Stoy K,
I think our only defense is moving our dude.
Pretty much, because you can't. I mean, you could push the water if you wanted to, but I don't know that would benefit it. Like another way to get out is to
we could push his
push his-
water down to here.
exactly
Mhm.
somewhere else so that it's not keeping you in check. But I don't know if that's useful.
I mean, it's useful in as much as then he has to play defensively. In that, like if we push it there, he can't. I don't think attack anybody, right? Or
Well, how are you drawing that line and then not leaving it?
Oh, holding tab down, pulling.
Okay.
So instead of pointing, doing like a pull on it.
right. Yeah. So like if we
Okay.
push all the way to here,
Learning TTS. Still.
right? If we push all the way to
Okay.
here, his dude from here can go diagonally and then could kill this.
It
Right?
cannot because
No.
because its only options are here and here.
Right. Or here, this chunk of 3,
Right.
Mhm.
or this chunk of 3. So he
And it could take the
could
water.
take our water.
Right.
We don't get any. But we could just like move our ether or ether.
is also true. I'm gonna step away for
Aether.
1 second.
Ether. Oh no, William, I need you.
You're all alone.
But actually that doesn't help us because you can hit us here too.
Yeah, there.
It's
where you have
here
your,
that you
yeah.
can't. But you're kind of
Your options if you want to move are
yeah.
basically.
Honestly, you
here.
kind of have us forked here because you can take either of these 2 pieces.
Right. I can also take this.
There's really no way for us to blow that up, and we can't use this to like push our guy into your guy and then through.
Nope. You can't push 2 pieces.
No.
Dang it, limitations.
Darn you. I mean, I guess then hypothetically our best bet is actually pushing it here, because then there's only one thing that you can get. And we could hypothetically transform the one thing you could get into a particle so you don't get something useful. Does that make sense?
Are you talking to me or Will?
Will stepped away, so I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Like if you
I'm
know you're
sorry.
going to lose something, does it make sense to turn it into a
Yeah.
particle to like conserve your
that-
waterness?
Yes, that is a good strategy to like.
Okay, so
it
because of how much he can fork with this water, William, I think we do have to push it, and then the one thing that he can attack, we can turn into a particle so that it's not actually that useful for him to attack it. So we're gonna push you to here, and then we're gonna
I had this piece forked and this one.
turn that into a particle. Put this dude back here. Actually, we might make this. I was thinking that this game was gonna go really fast, so we would need to do a 3-player game. This might go long enough that we just do the 2-player game. But I'm glad that Will is here for the moral support.
Yeah, I mean it's fascinating too. Like I like thinking about it and having even less pressure on the winning.
Right. It's also one of those games that I saw and I was kind of like almost instantly thought of Will. I was like, this is a Will game.
Take your piece.
Really, really complicated movement. You know, brain bendy. I was like, yeah, Will's gonna like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ha ha.
No, I'm not gonna do that because you can just take me right back. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go here and put you back in the check, and then.
I wish I could just
blow
push
me
you off
away
the edge.
this time.
I wish I could just push you off the edge. I do have your other water piece. So the real question is
the turn of mine.
So the real question is, hypothetically, even though we're in check, in the rules, I'm trying to remember the rules of chess, and I didn't particularly look over your rules. Is it an acceptable move for me to put you into check to get out of check?
No, I
Okay.
would just capture you before you could capture me.
Okay. Okay. I
Now,
mean,
in 3-player, there are some very intriguing scenarios where, like, I would be threatening you with check, and then
mhm,
you would threaten Will with check, and then
mhm,
Will would threaten me with or something like, it's like
mhm,
you
mhm.
get like a 3-way
Checkorama.
Checkorama. That is the technical term.
Hmm. Man, my brain is literally never gonna get this. So you can just you're not forking us at all here. You're just attacking him.
That is correct. I'm at this point merely attacking your Aether.
But you,
Now, of course, you can't move closer
right?
because I can get you
I can
there. So
only
you
fall back.
really only have one option.
Right, because none of these can.
Because water can jump, you couldn't block.
Right.
And
And none of our other
yeah, you
ones can
can't push
attack
it or
this.
anything.
All right, so let's fall back to that because it's literally our only move. And then, do we just? I think if we turn this into fire, I mean into earth, we do a fairly good job of trapping this water.
Because if it moves here, we capture it. If
Right.
it moves here,
If it
I
moves,
guess you capture it.
right. If it moves to any of these 3 locations, we capture. And if it moves to any of these 3 locations, we capture it. And if
And if it moves here, it's captured by fire.
yeah, its only move is to move here, in which case then we can fall back and
You can just capture
right.
it. Yeah.
So I think then we develop this into earth and we trap that, hypothetically. Unless he does something dirty. I do also
I
really want to
know.
send this to my brother. My brother John is a huge chess player, and I kind of want to just be like, what do you think of this? Because we just hung out, and I was talking to him about, like, kind of alternative forms of chess.
Uh-huh.
Well, I hate that.
Um,
I hate that so much.
why not? Oops. Okay, that
So
is
we're in check from just the earth, right?
that.
So we could just push the earth away and then take the
Nothing.
and then his thing will just take his earth will take ours. Can we develop it in such a way though? We can push you any amount, right? We don't need to like push you to the extreme.
That's correct.
So like we could push him here, put our guy here, and then turn this dude into fire. Although he has the ability to kill by squishing. Shucks.
Also, I'll point out too that you can't move your Aether here to get out of the way because
Or here.
the water is threatening
Or
it.
here
Yeah.
because you can squish it. Or here because the water's threatening. So we can't move our Aether.
You have to
We
come up
just-
with an alternative solution.
We just have to have this not be alive, not be here somehow.
One other option,
Well,
just for the sake of discussion, you could
is
move your
to put-
particle here to
Yep.
block.
The issue with that, no,
is
because you couldn't.
we can't counter capture because if we counter capture with our Aether, it puts it into check.
Okay, so if we do that and there's a capture there because you're threatening a back capture of it,
Mhm.
you would that flips to there a lot. Well, what is he out of? So all of his earths are on the board. He only has his last water. Yeah, he's putting you into a corner. I'm just trying to figure out how many paths out of it there are.
There's got to be an intuitive, a non-intuitive way for us to get out of this. Pushing our own dude doesn't help us.
No.
This attacking this doable, but doesn't actually help us. This can push this guy all the way here, or somewhere on this row, but that doesn't help us. I mean, it helps us, quote unquote, but I think it might be our only option, our only viable option right now, because this guy can kind of attack here-ish and then here-ish, but that doesn't help us.
You do what you think, because I get 3 moves in, and I'm like, all right, now my head hurts.
Yeah, I think this is like
It's a lot harder to plan in advance with this game. It's more about positioning because
Right.
your opponent can. There's so many changing and transforming that it can.
I mean, I think
How dare you push me around like that?
pushing it here is maybe the problem I think is that he can just squish whatever this is. So I don't think it actually makes sense to change this one, even though it would protect this. Can we change this into something that helps us prevent squishing, which would just be literally a particle? Because anything else that this can turn into can't go right here. So
Right, 'cause you can't make it earth, but you can make it particle.
So let's just do that and see how that Joneses out, knowing that if he takes our air, we can just take his water, and then he'll develop and probably beat us. But, you know. So the question is, I guess at some point you might be down to just having particles. If you're like manage to be super savvy and know when you're going to get taken, you could maybe prolong that, I guess. It's weird that like you only have 6 non-ether pieces, but then one might capture more than that because you have the other 8 pieces and because you're switching things back and forth. There's not like an alternate win condition, I guess is what I'm saying. Of capturing, if you capture like 8 of their pieces, you win.
Yeah, no, there's not.
Unfortunate.
All right, your turn. You're in check.
Mm-hmm. So this can't move here, can't move here, can't move here.
You basically have the same options you had last turn, just backwards.
Right, I just have to push this
Just
guy into the
push it
corner now.
back. Yeah,
I
or
mean,
block it with the
yeah,
particle.
I think that that's the only viable option for that guy. And then we could turn this guy into Earth, because then he's a little bit more defensive here. He can cover a little bit more area directly around us. Makes it a little bit harder for him to attack us.
Just a little bit.
Hopefully, maybe. Yeah, that was my fear, because we can't bypass and take that back. Shucks. So we could take that, but it's not a very good trade.
And you're already in check.
And we're in check, yeah. Well, would us moving here prevent us from... Are we in check? Because this is not
Yeah, from my Earth.
That's not a
It's not?
bypass, right. I was just making sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
would be a bypass, but this is not.
Mhm.
Okay. And like we
Yeah,
could do that.
bypassing is strictly diagonal.
I mean,
The interesting thing about this is you're actually kind of cornered in by your own pieces. Your particles are
are
like,
not non-helpful here. So the question is
yeah.
like, does
I think
this
you only have one option. I think you literally only have one,
this?
and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, or you can move the. I mean,
Or yeah,
you
yeah.
can't-
Or I
you
could
can
move
choose
this here.
one
Yeah.
of those two, yeah.
I think that this is maybe slightly better for reasons. Fire can't jump. Is there anything useful that we can turn this into, William?
If it's water, it can't attack anything. If it's wind, you'll just be using your own ether to kill things. If it's all your earth's already all out on the board, and if it's fire, yeah, it can't
jump
anywhere.
I mean, it double attacks this, but
Yeah, right.
we can kind of do something with water with this. So we're gonna make this water. See what happens.
Wiggling
Just
out.
keep squirming, just a little bit here and a little bit there, and the problem is you have been so good at keeping the pressure on that I've not been able to go on offensive. But I feel like the moment you let off, I'm gonna take something. As soon as you drop the pressure, I'm gonna be able to take something of yours. I do have an interesting idea that I don't know if you'll like or not, but we'll save it for post-game analysis.
Oh, you mean like a game design thought?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right. You're not in check.
I'm not in check.
Tell.
Is to take this one. The question is, do we take it with this or with this?
You can't take it with your earth.
Can't I? Without my earth?
Nope.
Oh, because it
if you
puts
move
myself.
that,
Yeah. So I
you're
have
dead.
to, but I can do this, right? Because I go over and then up.
Mhm.
And then if he takes, then I can take.
Then you're, countering it.
Okay. We do this,
Uh-huh.
and then we're gonna develop. How are we gonna develop, William? What are we doing, William? What are we doing with our lives?
What is happening?
You do have those left.
Just fire and air.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think any of those actually particularly help us, because like this is actually defending fairly well him from him attacking in to this. This can just attack back. without having to put this into danger if for some reason he can protect it. So I think, do we change this is the question? Because now this is out of range of that earth, so this earth is just like creating a no-fly area for this water, but
A no-fly zone.
but it's like, do we just turn this into fire to try to start bonking?
Pushing him into a corner? Maybe.
Sure, why not? All right, go ahead.
Man, that Aether Earth particle trio you've got going there is formidable.
it's real dense. This is like, you will not come over here. You can try. Crunchy. Oh, so maybe we would have been better leaving that as Earth. Darn it.
I was like, yeah, Earth is so powerful for zone control.
For just being like, you will not go in this area at all.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form.
I mean, both water and fire can attack an Earth without, being attacked back, but it's
right. It's tricky.
Let's
but
see.
now you kind of have done some grossness to us.
Check.
I mean, but if he takes that with that, then we can take it with that.
Wait, what that?
And then that. Okay. So do we just move
Can't do
this?
that. You're dead. You're dead there.
Dead here because of his air.
Because of his water.
Water, rather.
If you instead move your water to here, then it's blocked because the water would die instead.
He'll just kill the water.
And then you can just
counter.
Punch it back.
Right.
Just punch
actually,
it back.
This doesn't have you in check. So this currently isn't doing anything. It's like there it can move later, but
and then we can turn this back into an Earth and undo our oopsie.
You could.
Yeah, we're gonna undo that oopsie.
Hang on a second.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. A friend of mine is watching the stream, and he just informed me that I double transfer.
You fool! How dare you?
Please forgive me. So if this is the setup, I mean, you're still in check.
In theory, yeah. In theory, you could have. Yeah. Now you could move that because of the Earth, but you can't move that because you're then in check. You're then attacked by the fire. So it's basically the same move anyway.
Right. All right. Yeah. I think I'm good with the move that we made.
And then
knowing like, yeah, that if you attack in with this, we can defend here. If you attack in with this, we can attack back here. So you either have to do that and trade or start bringing in your third dude.
Unfortunately, my third dude is barely not far enough.
He's just like, just barely in an area where he's just barely useless. Like, he can get there and be like, yeah, that was a battle. You guys did it. Great job.
Oh man, they're all dead.
I feel like my camera's all cattywampus. Oh no, that's fine. Oh, you moved diagonally. Oh boy. Now what can this do?
I scourged on out of there.
What can this do now? Okay, so this can just attack my particle now?
And I'm defending my Earth.
And it's defending your Earth. Earth. Welcome to Earth.
That was a purely defensive move. That was I gotta get the heck out of Dodge and...
Right. Now the question is, how do we counter this? I mean, can we turn this particle into something that can attack here?
I mean, if you still had another water left, you could have attacked Earth to Earth and then threatened to counterattack with the water, but you don't have another water left.
Potato.
Jacob, I'm gonna step away from Keith. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Quick, move all the pieces.
Shuffle all the pieces quickly. Yeah, I'm just like, can we somehow defend it with something else?
The only thing that can attack diagonally is a water or 2 spaces away Aether.
Rats. Yeah.
If you put your water here, you'd be threatening it with the water.
Hmm.
But then it can't
Then,
attack back.
yeah, because we can jump over. So if he does attack this, then we can just take it with our water. That might be
Right,
good.
you're basically defending that, and
Mhm.
then also later on, if that doesn't happen and you attack here and the water comes in place,
Then we can
the water can flash back.
trade.
But I mean, then what is he going to do with this turn if you do that? Your water was here, right? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, so then what does he do? He ultimately wants to get this guy over here to
Mhm.
start threatening you.
So the
He doesn't
quest. What?
have you in check right now.
Right. I'm like, I think that this is the right move because that covers both of these spots. So it protects this guy and it threatens this guy. The question is then, is there something that we can do with one of like these two pieces that is
Mhm.
actually useful? Like, turning this into an air doesn't particularly help us. Turning it into fire might, other than like he's more likely to go and attack this for the even trade, I guess. But
Well, and part of what makes this good
mhm, is that it can back attack.
is it can back attack, and you lose that option if it transforms.
Right. And do we?
This, on the other
This is
hand,
kind of just keeping that zone control. Do we just do this and not transform anything? Is the question, I guess.
let's see if this can't become an air, but it could become a fire.
Right. I don't think a
So
fire
have y'all
particularly
moved yet?
helps
I
us.
guess you moved your water.
We moved our water, and we're debating whether we want to transform something. I think we just leave everything else, honestly.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, all right, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna leave you in the capable hands of Will while I go grab some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. So he moved his fire up here, and then transformed this back. Um, which makes sense because then it threatens. Um, which is good for him
Did he
down
do
the line.
anything? Did he take a move yet, or no?
Yeah. No. So he moved
Yeah,
his fire up, and then he turned this
back into
into
particle.
a particle to protect his availability of resources
Hmm.
if we take it. Because that way, in theory, you'd have to use one of your
Useful things for a
useful
trade.
things that he could counterattack back, and he doesn't lose as much.
But he would be down a piece still, and I wonder
Mhm.
I wonder at the curve of how important like having being one piece up is that like an exponential curve kind of where like at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning being one piece up is like kind of meh, but near the end of the game being one piece up might be huge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the,
My in my experience, being a piece up is pretty big late game. Being two pieces up
is huge. Yeah, it's like game
huge.
ending basically. So that's where like I think it might be worth it because we if we took this with our if we took this with anything and he took it with this, then we could retake, and then we'd be two pieces up,
Okay.
right?
Then I would suggest, I think,
But he can attack this with his
he
fire right
can,
now.
which is why I would use your water to attack it, because then if he doesn't attack back with the water, you can take it.
Got
If
it.
he
Got it.
chooses to go this way, then you say, fine, get your fire there. I'm taking
Your
your water.
water,
Now,
and then
what
we're
could he turn that
Mhm.
into?
Yeah,
He
no,
could
that's good.
he couldn't turn it into a wind to automatically kill you.
okay. So we're gonna do that. Then the question is like, do we transform this thinking that he might take it? We could even just turn it into a fire to be like, then we have him kind of like whatever you take, we can take the other one.
Hmm.
Because if he takes the water, we take his fire. If he takes the fire, we take his water. Then no matter what, we're good.
And the water doesn't.
Yeah, I like that move. So
Yeah.
this was here. Ha
Take that. Well, I say take this.
ha!
Because then that puts you in check.
And
And I'm gonna pass.
because this puts us in check. Burr, 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 burr. And Earth can't bypass. Damn you! Hmm. Crap.
I mean, yes, you basically have to move your Aether. Um,
But
and
here's what we can do. Hypothetically, we could move our ether here,
mhm,
which threatens his fire.
it sure does. And if he takes your
And if he takes this,
Earth,
we can back attack.
mhm,
And if he takes this and transforms it into a wind, then what do we do, William?
Then what happens? What happens now?
Oh, okay, because that's what he'll do. That'll be his counter to that.
mhm.
He'll move that to there and turn it into a wind, an air rather, and have us in check again.
You do have to move your Aether. There's no choice about that.
No, I know. I'm just figuring
The
out.
question of, yeah, I'm just thinking out loud with you.
Yeah, is like, and we actually,
I think you pretty much have just these three.
yeah, I can move him to one of these three. So it's like moving him here means we're not threatening this, but when he takes this here, we
You
we
flip this one to fire to then cross-threaten it.
right.
If he takes it, or alternately, you go here, and he has the option to take this, but then your fire can't fight it. Your fire can't eat it.
Right. And if we go here, we can't threaten to attack. Rats.
No, but you can. If you're there, then movement from him here. Here, not that he would necessarily do it. You can kill. Movement here, you can kill this way. So then why does he take a fire? So then he takes a fire piece here.
Right. Like here, we can threaten, but then he'll just move here and turn into this. He takes this and turns it into an air and then takes out this piece next turn, hypothetically. But then at least we would have the opportunity to then, like, we could move this out of the way down or something like that. I don't think we can protect this, basically. Because if we protect this, we unprotect this. So we can only protect one of these. Although this is protecting this.
Yes.
In which case, my brain broke. Maybe we do turn this into a fire? I think we can do this. I think we're good.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, though. Okay, hang on.
Aha. That was what I was. That was what that guy can defend that or that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Check.
And check. Now this is the problem where his dude can kind of just eat us and get us back to parity.
I'm gonna force you this way so I can just like.
Yeah, but like if you omnom, he's gonna have to omnom this first.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then he can omnom that. Well, shucks, William.
Maybe I should change the official terminology to be omnom instead of capture.
Oh yeah, for sure. We might have been outmaneuvered, William.
Yeah, so it was like, well, if you transform and then move, but that's not how it works.
Right. If only we could transform and then move. Everything would be fine then. So basically,
if you could transform and then move, like every piece is basically 3 pieces. Or
right.
4.
Right.
Technically.
So again, we're basically forced into one of these spots. One of these 3 spots, rather. And then he'll just eat this. So do we just transform this away into a particle? This is all we can do. And then during he'll eat that, and then we can run away. Oh no, William. What have we done? Or do we transform this into a Earth? Because then if he takes this, we can just take it.
Right.
Have you moved your Aether yet?
No,
No.
it's about to
Okay.
move. Yeah. So I think we move our Aether here, which protects this dude bro now. And then we can turn this dude bro
Into an Aarth.
into an Earth. In which case, if he takes this, our wind takes it.
Whichever one he takes.
We can.
And he's forced to move. So if he.
So right. And then if he doesn't move this, we can also eat it. So he might as well
Yeah.
take the trade here. I think we're in an okay position, but again, this game is so wonky because it's like, yeah, I trade for that and then I transform it, and you're like, well, I didn't think of that.
That is different now.
That's a totally different moveset.
The board state has changed.
I don't know how that works. So you turn into that, which I'm okay with because we'll at least be up. We'll continue our being up one in this.
Right.
By doing this. And then the question is, how do we kill this? We transform this into a air for this turn to protect this guy, I think.
How does an
Or
air
not an air. An air doesn't protect it because it would just shift it.
Yeah. But you could turn it into an air so that you can make it a fire next turn. And then having 2 fires on the board puts you in a better position to pincer. Especially if you can get rid of the fire.
I guess this guy's protected by the Aether this turn anyway. So yeah, so turn this then into an air.
Man, I have never wanted more strongly for a fire to be able to move diagonally.
You designed the game.
First, my own game design.
Curse me. Curse you. Oh no. Because now we've got his fire on the run, hypothetically.
I was going to say that is an interesting move, putting it there and seeing what happens.
That's my turn.
I hate that.
And now you have no more Earth. You are all Earthless.
So let's see.
My Earth.
Because this can't do that, because it can't bypass.
Yeah,
so he can just eat our dude, bro. He can just om-nom him. Let's use a technical term. But if he om-noms, then we om-nom back. Right?
What if you
so.
If you do this and make this a fire, he's in check.
Yes. But then he'll just eat it with his dude.
This guy with this right.
Right, he can just om-nom our fire with the Earth.
So then you do it over here and have the same result.
Yes, we do.
Because you can move an infinite number in a straight line with a wind.
Yes.
And then he has to do something with this. And then
we can't eat his Earth, but at least he has to. That gets us a turn to do something else. So we turn this back into a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away, Will.
And then he's forced to move this.
Take it away.
I really want, because I'm fucking chaotic as shit. I really want a piece that's like kind of the equivalent of a bishop that can only move diagonally. That can only move between these pieces. You know, like I can move move and capture, but only diagonally.
Yeah.
So then, if you move this piece here,
I have thought about that.
We can't.
Well, you see if he wants to transform. Sorry, you can't move it there. You can only move it to.
I'm not going to transform.
Right, so we can only move it here or here.
Which, if you put it here, that's threatened by the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to move.
We have to move. Can we move this to... Shit. Damn it. It's only 3 blops. So anywhere that it moves, it's threatened by Earth in this direction. And anywhere we could move it here. And then make it...
Water. You can make it a water.
We can't make it a water. We can make it a particle, though.
It doesn't threaten it, though.
Doesn't threaten.
Because really what you want to happen is you want to move it in such a way that he has no choice but to move this. But because what you would love to do is make this into a particle. But he has to move his Aether. So then you can take this on the next turn.
Right.
That would put you in a great position, but that's not
I don't,
necessarily an option you have.
I don't think it's an option.
So
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I think literally our only safe move, because we can go to these three, which are all attackable by Earth, and we can go to these three, which are all attackable by Earth, or we can go to these three, of which only this one is not attackable. So
I mean, you could always move your Aether.
I mean, I guess like we could move the Aether here,
Yeah, just to stall.
just to stall, and then move this into a particle, and then try and turn it into a water next turn.
yeah, but then you're giving him plenty of opportunity to do stuff with his Earth, or turn his Earth into, what does he have left? Fire or particle.
Thoughts, William? Do we do this? Or do we do this?
Because you're not in check right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want you want to control his move. You want to make your move one that he has only one option, and make it that way. You know what's going to happen next.
Right. And we can't threaten with this.
Nope. But you can't threaten with the fire, really.
I think both. Really, we only have two move options, I think. Unfortunately.
I mean, you have more, but they would be down moves.
Right. I mean, hypothetically, this is really, honestly, you can like only move here and keep protecting this and stay safe. Because if it goes here, it's no longer protecting and it's in danger. Danger. Not danger, but not protecting. Not danger, but not protecting. And this, as we've said before, is in danger everywhere it goes except for this. So which of those two options do we do? Which one do we do, William? Tell me what to do!
I mean, part of me feels like your best chance. I don't know. Like, part of me wants to get the fire out here because then you're on either side with fire and you can try and work your way in versus getting pushed into a corner.
So you think just this and don't turn this into a particle?
Because then what are his options?
Because I was going to turn this into a particle because then he can't come towards us. That means that he has to move this away or move this away from him. He can't move it towards. And then the next turn we can use it as water, which gives us a little bit of a longer or a more varied reach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's an option.
It's as good an option as any.
Pass.
Okay. So if we move this here and make it water, we put him into check again.
Right. Or you can also move closer and turn it into water. So you can be there and turn it into water so you're not as far away. And that continues, and then it also prevents him from going to either of these spaces.
Right, but then he moves back, and then we have to bounce around, I guess. Whereas here, he can't come towards us. He has to go, like, here. I'm not sure which one is the better move. I'd have to play more.
Yeah. I mean, part of me feels like you want to push him.
I think I guess what I'm saying is because water can't attack right next to it, I think that this is actually pushing him towards us, whereas this is actually pushing him a little bit more away from us.
And then he moves to here.
Because he can move down or up as opposed to moving in towards. So
if you say so.
I think again,
okay.
It's one of those things where like I have to play more to be like, how exactly does water push things around? So the question is, can we get this to a Can we get this to a point that puts him in check? Is it possible?
Can you move the water so that he's in check?
Right.
If you move it forward one, he's in check.
Okay, great. So we can move. I'm going to walk this through. If we move this here, that puts him into check, and then we turn this into a particle, he has to get out of check. In which case we would then be able to take this.
Take that, and then which
Okay.
his way of getting out of check is to go left or right. He can't move forward to threaten a counterattack.
Right. I mean, he could move towards us and then take our guy.
Hmm.
Is the thing. So that's the only problem with doing it this way. Is there a
And then
way?
that's what to do with 2
Is
pieces.
there a way that we can put him into check where he can't then threaten us?
Where he can't threaten back?
Right.
Yes. If you go here, then he's in check because you go 1, 2.
Right. This is the better move because we
And
can.
then,
Because
but then he'll move to here, and then when you attack with the particle, he'll just attack it back.
I guess better with that because then he's just threatening a particle and not threatening a water. And then we're one up on him, and I don't know.
Actually, no, he would do. Yeah, he can do that.
He can.
Because then you can flip this and turn it in. Take your time flipping this to what you
Right,
need.
because then he
Love
just
this.
has his Aether, and we
Yeah.
have our Aether and something else, which
Yeah.
I haven't done the math on, but I assume that you have, Joshua, and that it's winnable. So I'm gonna do that. Stoy.
No.
Okay.
Hang on, I got it. I was here.
Yep, you were in the center.
Okay. Blasted hole.
We did it, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not over yet.
I mean, I have an interesting question once this move goes through.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I pretty much have to do one of these two.
Mm-hmm.
All right, your turn.
Okay.
What was the question?
I mean, my question, I guess, is like, are there certain combinations of pieces where if like one person is down to just their Aether, and the other player has X number of pieces that the other player just resigns out of like kind of custom.
Yeah, so I don't have like any statistics on that.
Like my best example is like if one player in chess has just a king and the other player has their king and 2 rooks,
right?
They basically there's no way for them not to win.
Right. Yeah. So I know for sure that you can. I know for sure that you can win against a player with a single Aether. Earth is easy. That's like the easiest. Water and fire, I'm pretty sure. I need to run through the exercise of figuring this out.
Right,
Honestly,
like
but
if
water
you
and
just
fire,
have,
I think the only combination that you couldn't win with against a single Aether would be, well, it probably would be possible, but it would be really tricky to pull off. Would be air and your Aether.
but if you had fire,
But if you have,
you'd be fine.
yeah. So kind of the way that I think I'm going to do the rules is.
Right, it would be helpful to
And
have that.
if you
like
can get the
listing.
opponent, if you can get your opponent down to just their Aether, they lose.
Right.
Or they have to or it's a draw or something. I don't know.
Right. If you can get them
Because
down to your
it's
Aether and you have access to like fire, air, or or fire and earth, or
Right.
and that's just going to be
something like
you
that.
literally sitting there going, okay, I have an Aether and a water, and they have an Aether. Can I kill
Right.
them? And I'm sure it might be like it takes 20 minutes to do, but eventually you'll do it if you're playing properly or something like that. In which case, then you can put those into the rules, going, hey, as long as you have access to water and earth and fire, you're
So
good.
see,
But you
right
can't do it
now
with just
your
air or
particle
something.
can take my Earth, and
Right.
then I would just forfeit.
Right,
Or I
because
would
I can just go blah blah, bahoo.
Yep. And
Right,
then
because I
just for
assume
kicks and
that
giggles,
right
I
you
will
can
take
take that,
place.
but I was gonna say okay maybe
Yes.
this goes into a fire.
Yeah.
Because
So at that
then
point,
actually that would have been defending that, so you couldn't have taken it.
yes.
Because
Well, you couldn't get that quickly
And
into a fire.
and
Oh, that's right.
at
Because
this
that was
point,
a wind. Yeah, but I could have turned it into a
so
particle.
at this point, I officially concede. Well done.
Ha!
But what you would do is you would like just slowly push me into a corner, and then something like this setup
Right, where you can't move here
would be a
because of
checkmate.
this guy, and then you can't move that way because of that guy. Yeah.
And by a similar token, this would also be checkmate. So
Right.
I think the only one that I'm like, I don't know how it would
If
work would
somehow
be
you only have
air.
access to air, then you can't do it.
Yes.
But as long as you have access to water or earth or fire, you're good.
Or, well, actually, that's not true. You could come in here with a particle, and this is checkmate. The easiest one by far is Earth.
Is earth. You
Like,
can just be
if
like
you can,
here, and you're like,
like,
you're
just
done.
blam, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, for sure. So,
Cool. Cool. Very
excellent.
awesome. We did
Well
it,
played,
William.
gentlemen.
Ha
It
ha!
early on where I blundered and lost that fire,
That one fire. That
that
was it.
put me that put me a piece behind for like the whole game.
Right. And even though you
And
were able to be super aggressive, I was able to just kind of like put up shields and be like, nope,
yes.
for long enough that
And
eventually
so
I was.
that's kind of what I was getting at the early on
Mm,
about going on the offensive is as soon as you can start, like if you have enough pieces in the mid to far board that you can start like putting pressure on your opponent to where
mm,
they have to deal with, your attack on your Aether every turn.
right.
That's
Right.
kind of the move. And really try to utilize forks.
Right.
Because there is a ton of forking potential in this
Right. It's
game,
like
and so
so much working potential, and it's really like if you can just get that one up on them, you're kind of like golden. So here's my idea slash question slash let's make this more complicated because that's what this game needs. So what if and I'm going to preface this with the what I kind of always preface this when I'm giving other designers
is this going to be the Jacob Chaos version?
yeah, basically. No, which is like, hey, I'm just gonna spout out dumb ideas, and they're probably gonna be dumb, and you're gonna go, that's stupid. But
No,
every,
but hey, even if
but
they're dumb ideas can still lead to great ideas.
right,
So
well, every once in a while, the dumb idea becomes the Watson idea, where you're like, that's stupid, but it made me think of this, which is good. So
okay,
that,
what's your dumb idea?
so here's my dumb idea. What if I can come up with two of them, and you'd have to come up with some extra things to fill this in. What if air could not push earth, and what if water couldn't jump over fire?
I like it,
And then,
and I don't think that's as dumb as you think it might be.
because I kept being like,
Because here's the
man,
thing,
he
like,
keeps pushing my stuff around. I wish I could just like put up a wall and be like, no, you can't push me. Like, fuck you.
yeah. So yeah, so I would not tonight because it's getting a little later,
Right.
but I would love to play test that with you. To be honest, like there are, I've been teeter-tottering about
Mm,
water's ability to jump and thought like, man, if there was only some way to counter
right.
that jumping ability. And maybe that's it, to make it be fire is the counter.
Mm.
Not being able to push Earth. The downside to that, of course, is that you couldn't push your own Earth.
Right, which you
And
did very successfully. Be like, I'm gonna fork you by pushing my own Earth into the middle of
yeah,
all of this and having my air here, and it was like,
yeah, air can't
garbage.
or Earth can't, doesn't have great range, but if you combine it with now, of course, one alternative would be you could just push a particle across the board and then turn it into
Right, you
Earth,
could just and then leads to
But
like
that'd be
cool.
another layer. That'd be another layer to the strategy.
Right, or like you push a fire or water and then turn it into Earth. Yeah, like, oh, my water is defending here, but then I'm gonna push it over here and then turn it into Earth, and then all of a sudden I have a bomb in the middle of your thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was my one weird idea. Other than that, I think it's really cool. One, two, I do still want to play this 3-player. Obviously, this is going on 2 hours, and I want to interview you just shortly
Yes.
after this. So
Let me just load in the 3-player real
just so we
quick,
can look
just
at
so
it,
you can see it.
see the glory of the third
Um,
3-player game. Oh,
so
so fancy.
yeah, so in a 3-player, you're coming from the corners instead of the
Hmm.
edges, and you have 5 particles
Instead of
six.
6.
And of course,
Interesting.
it is a free for all. So
It's just absolute madman chaos.
Chaos, just disaster. No.
I love it. Well, that looks awesome. I definitely want to have you back for that.
yeah, we'll
Because
do
that
it
sounds
one day.
awesome. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna sign off for the recording, and then we'll do some quick discussion. So,
Okay.
everybody, where is the best place to plug if people want to play this, check this out more, etc.?
Yeah, so I actually just released or I uploaded the workshop to Steam, but I think I still need to go on and make it
Make
like
it public.
public or
Great.
something.
But when I put out the
Hopefully by the
video,
time,
I'll link it in the video, and then you
yes.
can
And
check out
then
in the description.
yep, and then you can also, I'll provide a link to the Discord server.
Awesome.
That's kind of the main hub for discussion
Discussion, play
around.
testing, all sorts of fun stuff like
Yes,
that. Um,
exactly.
awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for providing this awesome, cool thing. Will, do you have any thoughts? I forgot to ask if you had any thoughts. I gave my cool, crazy idea and then forgot to ask William if he had thoughts.
No, the only brief thought I had was like if you bouncing off your idea,
Mhm.
if you made elements counters to other elements, would you therefore have to take the next step and make the other two elements counters to separate elements too? Or are
Mhm.
you feeling that water and wind are already so powerful that they actually need the counter to be? Not saying there's an answer to that, but that would be my in
Yeah,
response to your comment. The
Right.
follow-up
yeah.
question is, what do you do then?
And maybe, maybe we could have some further discussion about that. I mean, I think the
Mm.
pieces work well as they are, but I do like
Some
the potential addition of the kind of elemental theming worked
mhm.
into the
Right.
pieces.
A little extra kind
And
of
it's
rock, paper,
interesting because
scissors.
some people like, so water is really powerful and that
Mm.
it can jump pieces, but then again, earth is super powerful in that it covers a ton of ground.
Right. Right. You did a great
Fire
job
has
of
some utility
each
in
definitely
terms,
has their own role in okay, I want this in this area and this in this area. Oh, I'm going to
right.
use this to long
And
range
it's
attack and
interesting
then
because different people have had different reactions to air. Like some
mhm,
people think it's underpowered because you
mhm,
can't capture directly with it,
mhm.
but it has a ton of utility, and you can very easily threaten your opponent with it. So,
Right.
like, kind of to Will's point, is there something here that needs to be not nerfed, but like countered? Like, does water need a counter, or does air need a
Right.
counter, or are they
Right.
all roughly
Or are they
equal?
right? It's like where does the power level of each of them lie? And it's like, okay, do you do something like across the board where it's like, okay, Earth can't be moved, but then Earth can also, or then like air can then do something specifically to Earth or something like that, or yeah,
Right. Yeah. And of course, then that this gets into the this gets into the question of like, okay, at what point are you overcomplicating,
right, of course,
the
right,
elegance of the game?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
for sure,
and
yeah,
I'm not
Obviously,
saying
it
that
isn't
just
chess, but the beauty of chess is that each piece, once you understand each piece, what it does is very straightforward.
right, right. It's
yes.
like, okay,
It's not
that's
a
it,
lot of
Yeah.
right.
complication.
It's just doing them,
It's the
yeah,
turn
Yeah.
that's the complication.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I guess in short, Jacob, I really like that idea.
But it's
I'd have
stupid.
to play test with it,
Yeah.
and no, not stupid. But it's just a question of like,
Right.
is does that fit?
Right.
Uh,
Is it needed? Is more, yeah, the
yeah.
question. Is that needed? Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm gonna interview him in a minute. Joshua in a minute. Him, the zoo animal. But thank you everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. Bitize me on Twitch. I still don't know how Twitch works. I refuse to learn. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.